Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as you can probably tell from the title of this video, over the past 3 weeks I have been taking Sertraline. I have kind of logged the symptoms and how I've been feeling over the past 3 weeks, and I wanted to share a little bit with you about my experience with them. I want to start this video by saying that obviously these are my own personal experiences with this medication, and if you do want to try this medication, please, consult your doctor. I am not a general practitioner. I may be someone who has used these, and I am training in therapy to become a therapist, so I do have a bit of a nuance, a bit of a unique experience, but yes, just go careful. Initially, when I went to the GP, I wasn't sure that I was going to want to take Sertraline. I wasn't sure yet. Then I told my GP that I understand mental health, I have a general understanding of how to look after myself. I go to the gym, I'm working, I'm studying, I have therapy as part of my course, so that's all good in that sense. He mentioned that I could try and take 50 milligrams of sertraline every day, and mentioned all of the side effects. Sertraline is usually used for OCD, anxiety, depression. It can also be used for premenstrual dysphoric disorder as well. So I kind of had a general understanding about it before I started taking it. Join me on my first day of taking sertraline. Today is day 1 of Sertraline. I could sit here and worry about the side effects, but I'm not going to do that. There we go, day number 1. Obviously not going to be bouncing off the walls and, I'm free of anxiety. As the days went on, I definitely started feeling the symptoms kicking in. I started to feel very panicked and just not quite right. At this point in time, I'd been sleeping a lot and just feeling generally really optimistic about taking the tablets. Let me first start by talking about the side effects. So I didn't feel anything when I took the first tablet. I felt a bit panicked that I'd taken a tablet, but obviously that's not the tablet, it's the secondary kind of reaction to the situation. So I was a bit panicked because I was like, oh my god, I've taken a tablet and what's going to happen? What am I going to feel weird? And kind of that sort of thing. The last clip was my first time taking it, and I went to the GP, which is where I got the tablets. Then I went to my friend's house, and then I went to work. And then I came home and I slept from like 2 p.m. until like 7 or 8 p.m. So I was knocked out. I don't know if that was because of the tablet or because I was just tired. I think I also want to talk a little bit about why I've decided to take these in this bit of the video, because I think I'm at the point, I think the 4-day point is like a good time to log some stuff, because I think the next time might be a week, and then it will be a week and a half, and then it will be the 2 weeks where you're kind of like symptoms are going and you feel a bit more like the tablets are accustomed to your system and you can just be normal. What is normal? There's no normal. You know what I mean. Fatigue, massively fatigued. And then that carried on throughout the second day. I think it was the second day and the third day a little bit, but I kind of was able to stay awake for most of yesterday. And also I want to point out that I am going through quite a stressful period in my life at the moment. So it is obviously important to say that it might not be fully the tablets, but everything that I've read, it does say that you do feel the symptoms in the first couple of days, like kind of the worst. So I just wanted to put that out there, that like I'm probably naturally going to sleep a bit more because I'm quite stressed at the moment, and my body, you know, physiologically your body goes through a lot when your mind's going through a lot, so it needs rest. So it might not be fully these tablets, but I'm like, I don't really nap anymore, and suddenly I've taken them and I've been able to nap. So it's, do you know what I mean? There's probably a link, but who can be sure? I've had a little bit of a dry mouth. Not really. I've definitely been aching. My joints, especially on my shoulders, have been aching. When I was really fatigued, like 2 or 3 days ago, it literally felt like I had COVID, but without the cold, just with the fatigue and you know, things like that. I woke up the second day with a banging headache, like a banging headache. So I've been a bit headachy. I've also had nausea, and it's a really kind of weird nausea that I've never really felt before, and I only feel it after I've eaten. I was saying to, I think it was my friend, I was saying that it's almost like when I eat something, it takes like 5 minutes for my stomach to realise she's eaten, and then I feel sick. I've had a really tight chest. It feels like someone's pushing onto my chest, which I've had quite vivid dreams. Not anything scary, not anything crazily kind of strange. I wanted to talk a little bit about panic symptoms I've had. So a little bit about my anxiety. I have got a whole video on it where I go into depth, which I'll put up here, or you can go and watch it after this one. Usually my anxiety will manifest through thoughts, and then the physical symptoms will come. So I'll think, oh my God, what if this, what if that, what if this? And then it will be panicked, like hunched shoulders, tight chest, feel sick, headache, like acid reflux. But now I'm not really getting any panic symptoms through a thought process. Bear with me on this one. I'm getting panic symptoms, tight chest, etc., without a mental trigger. And that's really interesting because I've not really experienced this before. I usually have a bit of a panic attack through winding myself up, as I like to call it, with the internal endless cycle of dialogue with people with anxiety. So yeah, I find that really interesting. And if I'm honest with you, I haven't seen many videos where people really kind of go through exactly what they're feeling in this much depth. So like, I'm sorry if it is a little bit too much, but that's just the way that I am, and I think it can help, you know, like help anyone watching this that might want to take them, or if this reaches you for whatever reason in your life, then I hope it can add something. So I have had 2 panic attacks today, really low impact. And going back to me with generalized anxiety disorder, I've not really had panic attacks. I would describe my anxiety as like this. It's always there most of the time. It doesn't really fully go away, but it doesn't rear its head too often, like really bad. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm like a constant worrier, a constant anxious person. I don't really have the random panic attacks. And I think, truth be told, I probably do, but I can grab them quite quick and calm down. But I haven't been able to do that today. And I'm not worrying about anything. It is I keep saying symptom, but you know what I mean. A side effect of this tablet is your anxiety can get worse on them. And I've definitely felt that. I've had 2 panic attacks today. Like I said, very low impact. What I've noticed is, you know how earlier, just now, I said before my anxiety would be thoughts and then physical, but now it's physical and not really thoughts going on, worrisome thoughts anymore. When I would have anxiety from my thoughts, it was other thoughts and other words and other narrative that would help that. When I'm having a panic attack and it's just physiologically, the physiological breathing, the kind of grounding helps. And I know that sounds so obvious, but I feel like a lot of the time, anxious people are told to breathe, ground yourself. And I genuinely think that that is really helpful for people that struggle with maybe a physical panic, attacks. But when it comes to the thoughts, something separate needs to be done there. And it's really weird. I've been able to almost like slice it into two. And it's made me realize what I need in the moment of like, when I'm having a panic, okay, breathe. When I'm having worrisome thoughts, it's about attacking those thoughts or not attacking those thoughts or welcoming those thoughts. And over the past couple of days, I've been able to completely separate those two. Whereas I feel like before they were I have had a few panic attacks, which, like I said, I don't normally have. I'm usually just an anxious person who worries a lot. I spend a lot of time in my head rather than in my body. And I think that's why it's quite easy for me to conceal. So I've learned something about myself and the way that my anxiety works, and, that's just my experience with this whole thing. And I just find it amazing. And I think by me sharing this, I wonder if anyone can relate to this. It would just be interesting to me, or if you've had a completely different experience. I think I'm also partly on the placebo effect because I am so hopeful. I have hope for these tablets, and I think the hope is being linked with optimism a little bit. And I don't know if the tablet's really helping my mood yet. You know what I mean? We'll see with time. Just a little bit about my day to day. Sounded weird. I woke up, went to my lecture at 6 a.m. All the trains were cancelled, had to get a late train. I was a bit late to my lecture. It was all fine. The train was cancelled on the way home, so I had to get lifts from different people, and people had to give me a lift there, and someone had to pick me up there, and it was it was wild. I've also been feeling dizzy, forgot that symptom. Anxiety, people with anxiety often hate uncertainty, and I feel like I was able to do today, alongside some pretty stressful symptoms of like panic attacks, it really felt like, and I know I would get through it, but I got through it with peace and positivity, and I just feel really grateful for that. The panic attacks that I've had have uncovered new symptoms for me, and this makes me think, I kind of don't think I was having panic attacks. I think I've just been anxious, or anxiety attacks, do you know what I mean? When I was having a bit of a panic and, a bit of a overwhelming sense of I'm gonna have a panic, I was having like numb hands, numb lips, I'm feeling faint. I'm feeling like I was just gonna like fall asleep. So it was definitely like more up the kind of panic attack-y scale. I've always had kind of my coping mechanisms, and I have had therapy before. I have my hobbies. I'm also a trainee therapist, so I have a lot of resources to know how to do things. But I wanted to share I've mentioned like situational anxiety. It's mainly surrounding my health and also kind of like existential anxiety. So unfortunately, about 2 months ago, my dad was diagnosed with motor neurons disease. Usually people can live to 1 year to 3 years, but obviously that's like a ballpark. But yeah, it's been really, really difficult, and my anxiety has just absolutely skyrocketed. And I've been worrying. Generalized anxiety disorder, you kind of worry about everything is the way I describe it. You have maybe your favorite themes like health or I don't know, death. I don't personally have it about death, but I grasp onto health as part of my anxiety, and I became worried about my own health. Got caught in some anxiety spirals that really led me down a road where it felt like I couldn't really get out of it, and it felt like I was doomed. Yeah, so it's been a really hard time in my family's life and my life the past 2 months. So that was my tipping point, and that was the point where I thought I need a little bit of help, because my anxiety and the thoughts and the existential anxiety of existence almost, and worried about my future and my health when there is no need to do so. I am okay and I will be fine. Just skyrocketed, and it was like I was walking around and felt doomed wherever I walked. That is why kind of I have taken this jump to medication, and I don't want this video to come across like taking tablets for your mental health is such a big deal, but it is for me a little bit, and I think that's okay to say. I am good at holding people, and I am good at being there for people, and I think I am a little bit, I'm fine. And to admit how much you're really struggling is a vulnerable place, and I think that's okay, and I'm proud of myself. There's that awareness of like, people take them because they might be struggling or blah blah blah, but also normalizing it and having that balance of not, oh my god, you're taking them, but also, oh, you're taking them, Yeah, I wanted to go into depth. I wanted to go into depth about my experience using these for the first time, and I really hope they help. I really hope they help. And I have 3 weeks off now from my course, so it's Christmas break. Sorry, I don't have any Christmas decorations. I do have some downstairs, so I'll put some pictures in of my Christmas decorations here. But yeah, that is what is going on for me at the moment. And I think I also feel a bit vulnerable because through helping other people and, representing that on my channel, I guess I can kind of hide away from what's like going on in my life. And it's that kind of message that trainee therapists and your therapist like struggle too, and have been through stuff too. And I think I didn't really realise that before I went into the therapy profession. And it sounds so obvious when I say it, but I think there's this notion that therapists are kind of these godly figures of healing people, and they're healed, but healers have their wounds. And I think it's like, we were talking today, and my tutor said that like 80% of people who go into being a therapist have had, experiences before where they've wanted help and not had it, and they want to help others. Or I'm not ashamed at all to admit that I'm going through a hard time. I do feel nervous, like I said, about, kind of bringing this, and it is a lot, and I appreciate that it is a lot. But it's also me, and it's also what's going on for me, and it wasn't me at one point, and it won't be me in the future, but it's me right now, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm not. My purpose is awareness, and other than what's going on with my dad, it's hard to see, obviously, so it is a really difficult time for us, and it's something that you would never expect. And I'm sure I'll make videos in the future about my experience with this and things like that. You always think that it won't happen to you, and if you suffer with health anxiety, don't go Googling this, motor neurons disease, just don't. I also wanted to talk about taking these tablets with a bit of health anxiety, and I would say that the side effects are because of the tablets, obviously. So I would say if you're going to start taking these, give yourself time to rest with these side effects, and if you can take time off work, or if you can even take holiday, just if it's too much, do you know what I mean? Because I work part-time, so I've been able to have that time to sleep and not study for the week, which I'm grateful for. So I'm aware that other people won't have that opportunity. I'm not saying that everyone's experience will be like this, but I'm proud of it, and it's a new journey for me and it's a new experience. And as I said, as someone who suffers from health anxiety, having all of these side effects is not easy, but I've done it. And I think that if you do suffer with health anxiety, usually you most likely you will be taking antidepressants alongside therapy. So utilize therapy to talk about the antidepressants. That would be my advice. My hopes is that it will work. My hopes is that it will also improve my sleep, because worrying less will hopefully allow me to relax and sleep better. I also wanted to add that, like, obviously I know mental health is real, and I know that, you know, I work with clients, I work with people in the past with mental health, and I've experienced it myself. When I speak with a particular group about, oh, just started antidepressants, they're like, oh, well done, you know, I hope they work for you. You speak to another person or another group who don't really understand mental health, their response will be very different. So that's why I think it's okay to feel scared about telling some people that you take them. I don't think that is a bad thing. You should feel guilty, or I should feel guilty for that, because that's why mental health advocates are really important, is because there is still misconceptions. Yeah, that I just wanted to add that. So I'm gonna go and have a bubble bath, but I'm also gonna try and finish my essay. So I've had a really good day today. I've pushed through. I've had a tough day with some of the symptoms, but this time yesterday I didn't know how I was going to push through today and go in and do my lecture, and it's a long day, and it's where I study is an hour and a half away, and all the trains were cancelled, so it was like an absolute chaos. So I'm proud of myself today. And if you've reached to this point in the video, let me know in the comments what you are proud of today. It could be making your bed, it could be having a good meeting with your boss, it could be getting a good grade or making someone laugh. So let me know in the comments your little win for today if you have reached it to this point in the video, and I will see you when I next update you. I did have a call from my GP on the 2nd week mark, speaking about kind of how I was getting on, and I explained that I may need to go up the dose because of my dad passing away quite suddenly. There's been a lot that's happened over the past week, unfortunately. But I just wanted to check in with you about how I'm feeling on Sertraline. So it's day 15 or 16, I think. So we've been going for quite a long time now. And the side effects of the tablets are settling down. So I'm not feeling as sick. I'm still feeling a little bit sick. Haven't got headaches anymore. I'm still waking up in the night. But yeah, no more panic attacks really induced by the medication, I don't think. Since October, my dad has been diagnosed with motor neurons disease, and a lot has happened in the past 2 months, and unfortunately last week he passed away. So it's basically been a really difficult time for me and my mum, looking after my dad and obviously what's happened. And I'm not going to go into huge detail, but I kind of wanted to insert that in here because I think maybe I would see more of a sufficient increase or help with my mood. But obviously there's been a lot of kind of existential awful things happening, so 50 milligrams of sertraline probably isn't going to completely override that, of course. So that has been why I started to go on this medication, and I think I've said it a few times in this video, but I've seen a lot lot of people saying that they take sertraline, and it's kind of like everyone takes antidepressants or whatever, but I don't really hear a lot of people talk about the experience, and I'm quite a health anxious person, so the idea of taking a tablet that is going to induce side effects is like a nightmare in itself. And I understand that some people watching this may think, why are you making a video about this? But I think it's important. So yes, this is coming to the end of the side effects, I think, and I'm feeling really, really positive about the sertraline. I probably will up my dose at some point because of the things that have been happening in my life, but I am okay as I can be. But yeah, side effects are kind of subsiding a little bit, still feeling sick, still like kind of waking up in the night, but they are settling down. So sorry to end this video with some terrible news. I'm sure I will be checking in on this channel about the grieving process and about my dad's story, about what happened. And at some point I will be creating a charity for him, so please stay tuned for that in my description boxes. Where am I at the moment? I definitely feel like they're having some sort of impact as time's going on and I'm living my life and going out and about. I'm thinking, I would usually get overwhelmed right now and I'm not. For example, in very like shopping malls and things like that, like sensory wise, I really struggle with the lights and how loud it is. It makes me quite anxious, and I haven't really noticed that as much. So there's been little things like sensory wise that I've been feeling better with. And I've been sleeping so much better. I watched this BBC News kind of symptoms video on YouTube, and they said that 1 in 4 people don't get on with antidepressants, and it takes up to 3 times to find the right one. And I'm hoping that this will be the right one. I think I've definitely felt that some of the side effects are still hanging around, like tiredness. Overall, it's subsided quite a bit, and I hope that it will continue to. I think I've gone on TikTok and YouTube and like Reddit and seen a lot of people talk about how they struggled so much with the side effects. And I would say I have struggled. I'm in a position where I work part-time, I study, like we're all in different situations. And if these side effects don't go in like a couple of months, obviously I'm going to think maybe I should try a different tablet. But I've still been able to function and still been able to work. I've still been able to do things. And I've noticed as well my appetite after the sickness subsided, my appetite's been more normal. People eat 3 meals a day and snack usually, and I struggled a lot with food because of my anxiety. When you're anxious, some people want to overeat, some people undereat, and I undereat because I feel sick and the symptoms of my anxiety make it hard for me to eat. So I've been noticing that I've been eating a lot better, a lot more food, which is only a good thing. So yeah, so many reflections, so many experiences that I've had on these tablets. And I think overall, the message of this video is not only to share my experience and my symptoms and things like that, but just kind of be open about my experience as well. And I think, I'm noticing that I'm uploading this on Christmas Eve. If this reaches you, and if you're watching this, and if you've reached this point in the video, or I think Christmas time when you're struggling with loss and grief can be very, very difficult. I've got my own ways of coping and my own mindset. I'm just going to talk a little bit quickly before I end the video about the signs for me and why, like I've explained in this video, that I've always struggled with anxiety and OCD kind of symptoms. My dad was diagnosed with a terminal progressive, no cure at all, no cure for it, illness 2 months ago, and a week ago he passed away. So you can imagine just from that information, it's been a crazy ride and it's been terrible, to be honest with you. Anxiety on top of really struggling with caring for my dad and other things. Watching someone you love go downhill and live with them, and that being your everyday is very difficult. So that's kind of why I started taking them. For a while it's been building up, my anxiety, to a point where I thought just the physical symptoms, and it was just getting to a point where it was just absolutely draining me. So I think I've been thinking about it for a while, but the situational issue with my dad kind of was the push of taking them. And so that was the signs, I guess, for me. And I think usually from my experience, what will happen is you will go to the GP and they'll say, have you ever had therapy? Have you had talking therapy? Medication is usually the last resort, or, you know, not a last resort, but it's ideal that you kind of try other things before medication. So yeah, I am on, I think, the lowest dose or the second to lowest dose, but I would maybe think about going higher, but right now I'm feeling pretty okay. If anything, for me, the biggest break that I've had is my sleep, just having better sleep. Overall, I feel good. I feel proud that I've gone through the trudge of the symptoms for the past 2 or 3 weeks. And just for reference, like, I am that person that is constantly Googling their symptoms, or, you know, like I do have my coping mechanisms and I am okay, but with the things that have been going on in my life with my dad and illness, it's just been like unbearable, with my anxiety on top of that. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope that maybe this gave you some insight into an antidepressant journey that is from a practitioner, or a trainee practitioner, and someone that works in mental health, experience in mental health. If you have any recommendations for video ideas, do let me know in the comments. I have been uploading every week and I shall continue to. So yeah, let me know if you like this style of content as well, like a bit more personal or vloggy, like that kind of vibe. Take care of yourself, and I will see you on New Year's Eve for a new video.